Hello students, welcome to this math video lesson on the volume supernote, part 5, L-based prisms. So there's something you should know about L-based prisms, or any prism that is constructed out of a composite shape. There is no formula for volume. So knowing that, then that rules out method 2. So we can only find the volume of these type of prisms using method 1. So step 1, let's focus on the base of this prism. Like we have with all of the other type of prisms, we focus on the base, and you can see why it is called an L-based prism. So what I've done is I've transferred over some of the measurements that we need. We know that this side here matches up with this side, that is 7 centimeters. We have the bottom here, matches with this side, we have 5 centimeters. We have this little measurement, 3 centimeters. So I've copied down kind of what we need. Now, there's a couple measurements missing. So I've left out this measurement on purpose. Can you see what it is? That would be this measurement, 2 centimeters. So as we're working on this, we always have to be looking for information that we can use. So let's write that in here, 2 centimeters. I used a very thin pen here. All right, there are a couple other things that we are missing. We are missing this top measurement, and we are missing this part of the L. So how would we go about calculating these two missing measurements? So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to change colors here. All right, so how about this measurement right here? Well, we know that from here to here is 5 centimeters, okay? That is 5 centimeters. But we also know from here to here is 3 centimeters. So how would we solve for this missing length here? When you show me your work, hopefully you came up with an answer of 5 minus 3 equals 2 centimeters. Okay, so using that strategy, let's solve for the other missing length, this one right here. Okay, so we know that the distance from here to here is 7 centimeters. We know that the distance from here to here is 2 centimeters. So how would we go about solving for this missing length here? So when you show me your work, hopefully you're writing 7, which is the total of that measurement, minus 2 equals, which is this little bit, and that should give us what's remaining here, 5 centimeters. 7 minus 2 equals 5 centimeters. Okay, so the next thing we have to figure out is, how do we want to divide up this shape? So let me just draw a rough diagram here. Let's see how neatly this can go. All right, so there's two ways, isn't there? So hopefully you're looking at this shape and thinking, okay, well, we can divide it into two rectangles. We could divide it with a diagonal line here into two trapezoids, but why would we want to do that? We want to make the easiest cut possible. We also want to make the minimum amount of cuts. So we can either cut vertically this way, or we can have a different solution, a different strategy actually. We should probably end up with the same answer, but if I were to draw this L shape of the base, we could also divide it this way into two rectangles. Okay? So how you proceed depends on how you split this up. So if I look at here, the first kind of option, first option, I have rectangle 1 and rectangle 2. And then over here, if I have the second option, I have rectangle 1 here and rectangle 2 here. So it doesn't really matter which solution you take. Okay? So I'm just going to use solution or strategy 1. Okay, so let's begin our solution here. All right, so we have area of rectangle 1 equals base times height or length times width. So we're just going to call this the first step of our solution. Okay, so let's look at rectangle 1, or sorry, rectangle 1 in strategy 1. So if I were to draw a little diagram here, and we want to show our measurements. Well, we know that the measurement of this side is 7 centimeters, and this little bit right here would be, down here, would be 5 subtract the 3 equals 2. So this would be 2 centimeters, which we calculated over here, didn't we? Okay. All right, so that's our information line. So what do we know? We know that the length is 7 centimeters. We know that the width is 2 centimeters. That's our information line. Let's do our substitution line. Area of rectangle 1 equals 7 times 2 equals 14 centimeters squared. Now remember, this is the area. We're working on area here. We haven't got to volume. So make sure you keep track of your units. This is area, so it's something squared. Okay, so that takes care of this rectangle here. So let's go on to the second part of our solution, which is this rectangle, this little guy right here. Okay, so what do we know? Well, we know that this measurement is 2 centimeters, and we know that this measurement is 3 centimeters. This is 3 up here, and this is 2 right here. So we have everything that we need. So let's set up our formula. Area of rectangle 2 equals length times width, or base times height. We know that the length, the longer side, is 3 centimeters. We know that the width, the shorter side, is 2 centimeters. Substitution line, area of rectangle 2, R2, is 3 times 2 equals 6 centimeters squared. Okay, so that represents the area of this part of the rectangle. So now what do we have to do? Well, we have a third step here, and we'll call it area total. So area total is the area of rectangle 1, which is 14 centimeters squared, plus 6 centimeters squared, which is the area of rectangle 2. 14 plus 6 equals 20 centimeters squared. Be careful not to multiply these together. Remember, whenever we're talking about total, that means sum. And whenever we're talking about sum, that means addition. Okay, so we've solved something very, very important now, and that is the area of this entire base, or L shape. This is a composite figure. Okay? All right. So now let's focus on its height or depth. Well, we got to determine what the height or depth of this shape is. And that's where this figure comes in. Remember, we haven't used this number yet. 3 represents how tall or how many layers this L prism has. So if we know that we're using method 1, we know that the volume of any shape, okay, is the area of the base times the height or depth. Well, what do we know? We just calculated the area of the base. The area of the base up here was 20 centimeters squared. And the height, I just pointed you to that in the diagram, is 3 centimeters. Okay, you can call that the height, or you can call it the depth, how far back that L shape goes. All right, so this should be an easy multiplication question. Volume equals 20 centimeters squared times 3 centimeters. Well, using your calculator, 20 times 3 is 60 centimeters cubed. Okay, now be careful now, because now we're talking about volume. Centimeters squared times another centimeter equals centimeters cubed. All right, now that we've solved the whole question, we can put our conclusion statement. Therefore, the volume of this L prism is 60 centimeters cubed. Now, it doesn't have to be an L prism. It could be a hexagonal prism. Okay? The method is the same. You have to calculate the area of the base and then multiply it by its height or its depth. Okay? So this concludes the volume supernote part 5. Thanks for watching. Bye.